welcome to Sirens Studios discussion number 4. My name is Corey, this is
Nickole,
and this is
Janet,
and we're here to talk about movie adaptations with comics and video games, and general video games that have been inspired by movies themselves. Last week we had our first review ever by the lovely Nickole, who did Thomas Was Alone. That was a great review. If you guys haven't seen it, I recommend checking it out after you watch this video, of course. So, is there any news before we begin, ladies?
we did just have pasta, so depending how that goes, I'm either going to be really sleepy or very hyper.
Well, either way. Oh yeah, Alex is dead. We killed him. Dun dun dun! So, we're doing this at a different time. We apologize.
For the dog in the shot, he just doesn't listen.
Yeah.
We apologize for if there's any lighting issues. But without further ado, let's begin and let's dive deep into our discussion. The first real topic that we're going to begin on is adaptations in general. All about movies and comics and, video games and all that good stuff, whether it is good or bad. Now, any true video game player that you meet will come up and tell you that most video game movies that have been adapted from a popular series don't go so well. But what are your thoughts on this whole situation? We do have some pretty bad ones out there, but
generally when a series gets so much attention, obviously their franchise wants to get the most out of it, so they'll go ahead and make an adaptation for it, and it doesn't always go over as well as they want.
yeah, that's true. Some may reference, and I always reference, the Dead or Alive movie that came out, and we're going to be using that for an example later on in our topic on why and how these movies go so wrong. But recently we just found out that there has been more news pertaining to the Assassin's Creed movie that's rumored to be coming out. Janet, you know more information on that. What's happening? Okay, so she's having stage fright. But you heard some recent news, haven't you?
Actually, I don't know. I'm pretty surprised. I actually thought they were gonna. Everything I heard was like rumors. Just like I was like, oh, there's gonna be a BioShock movie, and I'm like, really? And then they're like, no. So then they're like, I was like, Assassin's Creed movie, and then they were like, we're not really sure, because I always kept on hearing rumors, and everyone's like, oh, Michael Fassbender's gonna be Altair, and I'm like, I can't tell if that's true or not, because that'd be pretty cool. I mean, he'd be a good actor. I don't know. I feel like he'd be a cool actor for that particular character. I think that'd be pretty good. So, if it's true, hopefully, I'd pick him.
I'm not sure how to feel about it. We've had rumors going around, the infamous rumor of World of Warcraft coming out as its own movie, which we've yet to hear any news on. It is really, I guess, more about money, isn't it? But what would make a good video game movie kind of thing? What makes it bad in the first place? That's the whole question.
I think it's... Jinx, now you can't talk.
Okay.
I think it might have to do with just the whole story-wise and character-wise, because sometimes they'll try, but they don't really do the character justice, and then you're like, but that person's not like this, or sometimes they do, which I really hate, is, well, no, take a character that you love, and it might not be necessarily for video games, but also do this for like maybe for a show or a cartoon or something, just has a movie adaptation, and it's like nothing like the thing that you love from that cartoon. It's just like, what?
Well, it's because they're trying to format it so that it appeals to a larger audience, not just fans of that game or whatever. So they try to change it enough so that like outside people can enjoy it, and
yeah, but then
it kind of ruins it.
It's not doing it justice to the fans who are like, who really like, for example, Avatar, or The Last Airbender, because I
I
know
was
Avatar.
gonna bring that up.
The
Yeah,
Last
I was gonna
Airbender,
bring
because
it up.
obviously I can't say Avatar because that's right, copyrighted by M. Night
Shyamalan, yeah, you got it.
What?
Shyamalan, you got it.
Shyamalan. Because the thing is, that movie just everything that movie did was wrong, and I don't know how the creators of The Last Airbender, who I love, and they're like awesome people.
I don't think they were happy with it. In the end, they said they weren't happy with it.
I didn't like it because they were doing all these things for it, and then I went to a signing for them. I met like two of the actors, way back when obviously when it was coming out. And I love The Last Airbender. I'm like a really hardcore fan. I love it. It just makes me laugh, and I love the characters and everything. And I remember I went to the signing because I was like, it looks good, I guess. I mean, I love the show. And I thought I'd be like, I'm going to meet all these awesome, super cool Last Airbender fans. And I get there, and then like I'm waiting, and like I got there super early. We got there, it was like a long time, and oh my god, it was super empty. We got there super early, so we were waiting for like hours and hours for it to actually start. And then like it got pretty packed, and then like they obviously, since it's famous people, the media and all that stuff, and like no joke, it kills me to this day. Like every single like media interview or like whatever, they're like, I would see all these interviews and all that stuff for that event. I was like, that's so cool. And I would see all these things. Everyone's like, so like, are you a fan of the show? What's your favorite thing? And people are like, I'm not a fan, but you know, this person and this person. And you know they were there. It's because one of the actors was the actor from Twilight, and that's why they were there. A lot of them were like, I know this actor and all that stuff.
Yeah, you have those
from
hardcore
Twilight.
fans.
And I was like, are you kidding me? And I was like,
I mean, you can't stop that because people are very big fans of certain
I know,
actors.
it's just, I was very annoyed that
if
a
the
lot of
opportunity arises, they're gonna go.
Unfortunately, that's how it goes. You know?
it killed me that a lot of them were there for Twilight, and I was like, dude, you're dissing my show, man.
Yeah.
You don't diss my show for Twilight, not for anything.
That's also a very good point to bring up, that they just add in actors because they're famous, and they'll think, well, if we bring them in with enough screen time, you know, hell, it's going to get more people
And
to watch.
unfortunately it did,
And
because
it works.
It did. I was sad enough that I regret it to this day. I went to go see it in theaters, and I don't know what possessed me to actually sit there and watch the whole thing, because I'm pretty sure for the
you
first...
didn't know what was going to
No, the first 20 minutes I was like, I'm going to get up and leave, but someone has to come with me.
They pretty much said some names wrong, and that was the end for me. I remember just going, I'm done. I'm done with this.
Avatar. Avatar. The instant I heard that, I was like, no.
And then they said,
did you watch the show?
Sokka.
It's two A's.
They said Sokka, right?
Sokka?
Instead of Sokka.
They mispronounced a lot of
Sokka,
names.
it's Katara, they got her name.
They
Uncle
didn't-
Iroh, man. Uncle Iroh! It's Uncle Iroh!
They didn't stay geographically correct either, because you know each of the benders have their own kind of place on our world, so they didn't stay correct with the characters either. I think the only one they did was the Earthbenders, because the Earthbenders are supposed to be Chinese.
No, I think that's the Fire Nation.
No, Fire Nation's supposed to be Japanese.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh.
And they didn't stay it correct, and it
Yeah, I
was
didn't
upsetting.
really. And then it's not even funny how many things was wrong with that
Yeah,
movie. One,
it's
the actual bending. It's like, I don't know. I really don't understand what possessed them to give the firebenders a handicap. Like, they can only firebend fires that are already there. It's like, no.
Probably for the CGI though, they probably couldn't get it right. I guess.
If they could do air, you just paint it red, make it fire. I'm sorry, it's like they can. They could have, but the thing is,
Maybe
they got lazy. They didn't want to. The water bending is like, swear to God, they did like 50 of this for a drop. They got 10 people to pound their feet on the earth for a pebble to float.
I want to say that they just kind of wanted to show off all like the martial arts kind of moves. That
And
they
I don't mind,
use.
because that was one of the favorite things that I watched in the
Right.
cartoon. It was actually really accurate, different fighting styles of different martial arts. Like, everyone had like their own different, and I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, put that in the movie, but at least make
They
it
should've
match
kept
up to
more,
the bending.
yeah.
Like, literally
Yeah.
the one scene where there was like 5 earthbenders, and they're doing this complicated thingy, and you just see a rock floating right there.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was the point I wanted to get up and leave, but then I was like, I paid for it, so no.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna watch it, but then I left angry.
What about time's sake? I mean, a lot of movies do that because they want to squish in like so much, but they can't. So they have to keep it for the movie time. Like, I don't know. I feel that they did that also because they squished in all the books and everything just for the time's sake.
They did a different.
They didn't really
story.
squish in all the books. They actually, I'll give them that. They kept it to book one. But the thing, and I understand obviously you can't do a whole season
But
and
still.
They kept it. They explained it sort of well. Obviously they can't do like every little event, like go to Boston Say, go to this place, go to this
But
place.
I mean, it feels
go
like
to the
at
Great
some
Divide
point,
and stuff like
at
that.
some point they missed like key parts that were in this series that it meant a lot, and it feels that at some point they kind of took away from that experience. When you're watching the series, you understand that it's important, but when you're watching the movie, you don't really. Everything kind of just
You don't
feels
get the full
blended.
experience.
Yeah, it just feels blended and just messy and like mush to me. I think that a lot of movie adaptations tend to do that.
It does that, yeah, because you have this entire book and they're trying to fit it into like an hour and a half long film.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, and so sometimes I try not to keep my hopes too high for them.
Yeah, because after that experience, that
Well,
totally.
Usually, it's hard to translate a book's like activities into a movie.
Yeah.
So I try not to keep my hopes high for any movie adaptation.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I try because I'm always going back to the faithful and like Harry Potter did it so well. Hopefully they
They
can
did it
do it like
right.
Harry Potter. Like yeah, they did
But that's
it
because
right.
that's
Yes,
because
they
the
did.
author had a lot to do with the movies, though. She made sure things were right.
And I like J.K. Rowling for that. She was like, she knows what she wants. She was like, the actors, it's like, okay, this is how I describe the people. It's like, no, this perfect. This is Harry Potter.
Yeah.
This is Hermione. This is how I pictured Draco, or this is how I pick. I love her for that because she's like, these are my characters. I know what they look like. This is how they should look like. And she went out and she found it, and that's why it was like the biggest
I think that
success
the
ever.
best thing was, I think the casting director had them do essays pertaining to their characters.
I heard about that.
And
that
like
was awesome.
they did such a good job because the casting director made sure that they understood who their characters were, and each one fit their characters perfectly. And it was like,
Well, apparently Tom Felton didn't know what Harry Potter was at the time.
But even then, the movies did leave out a lot of.
Well, yeah,
things
I know.
from the
I
book.
read. I love the books.
But
They're like
they
amazing.
still did it right.
I think because J.K. Rowling understood why she accepted it, but I know that she was very active in it. However, some people who hear that they're going to have an adaptation in a movie, and they kind of just let the directors do, and I think it's because the directors kind of come in and take over, and that's the whole problem. Because the person who created the story needs to be there. It's their story.
It's their story. It's their characters. They know.
Exactly. So I think that's why J.K. Rowling did such a good job with their movies, because she was there. She made sure that her creation was how it was supposed to be.
Another one, The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I talked to my sister because she loves the books and she watched the movie.
I want to read the books. I haven't read it.
I kind of got her perspective from it, and if you know my sister, she's very picky about what she likes. She will get mad if something's not right. And she did admit to me that obviously the movie wasn't up to her expectations, but she enjoyed it. And even after having read the books, she accepted it. And that was great because my sister is on another level with that. So it surprised me that she liked it. And I never read the book, but I liked the movie.
Yeah, I like the movie too. I felt bad because I wasn't really into the books. Like I remember there was a time where everyone's like, "Oh my God, have you guys heard of The Hunger Games? Read it. It's really good." And I was like, "Eh." And then I saw the movie. I was like, "Oh, hey, that's actually okay. That's interesting." I still haven't read the books. I feel like I should eventually at some point in my life. I'm like read it. And I feel like I might like it. But yeah, I like the movie. So if I like doing the thing where if I see like there's gonna be this movie that's like based off the best selling, and I'm like, hey, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
I'll either go out and buy or get the book and read it before the movie, or if I see the movie, I'm like, hey, that's really cool. I guess the book must be really good too, and I'll do that. I remember I did that with way back when Aragon came out. I'm a huge Aragon fan. I saw the trailer and I was like, dragons. And then I was like, and they're like, it's a book. I'm like, it's a book, and I found it, and I was like, can I buy it? And I read it. I was like, whoa, it's really good. And
Was the movie as good as the book? Or did it
sucked.
stay?
No, it really did. And here's the thing. Again, I don't know what they were thinking. They just
Really?
changed so many key points. So I was like, no.
Really?
Yeah. One of the main things that I really, really, really hated. okay, his dragon, her name is Saphira. I love her to death. It's so cute. It's in the books. Obviously, it entails the months of when he had her, the egg when she hatched. Eventually, her growing up, like he's like, oh, I have to hide her now. He going through all that eventually till she was somewhat a full-grown adult dragon. And it's really cool just reading and I can understand in the movie if they don't want to necessarily play out months of
Right.
her. I understand if you can maybe do it like
The time skip.
a time skip. I honestly don't care. I was
Did
like,
they not
I
do
am.
that?
No, you know what they did. At one point, I kid you not, you can go back and watch the movie, and I'm pretty sure I killed myself a little. He has her, right, and they're running in a field like somewhere because he's a farm boy, right? He lives with his uncle, and he's flying, and I guess he's trying to teach her how to fly. So he's kind of like pushing her a little, and he's running, and she's trying to fly. And so eventually she takes off. He's like, yeah, and she's like, ooh, like whatever, like a baby dragon flying. And so she's like flying higher, and I kid you not, she goes into the clouds, and like out of nowhere, she does like this transformation, like you see magic happen, and she literally grows up into a dragon right there. And I'm like, wait.
A time skip would have been more appropriate.
Like literally, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. She just
They could've
magically
done one of
transformed
those,
into an
like,
adult, and
Maybe
she
like
lands.
a montage.
Not even
literally-
like one of those, she disappears in the clouds and she comes back and it's like months later or something.
Yeah, I don't mind that. That'd be cool. Like, oh, like 10 months. I don't care. But no, she magically transformed into an adult. She lands and she's like, Aragon. And I was like, what? No! You don't do that. You don't. It was a ridiculous way to do it. And I hated it. And I was hoping eventually, because Aragon, it is the inheritance cycle. It's a really good book. I always recommend people to read it. It's a little confusing, kind of like Lord of the Rings with all the names and whatever. But it's really good, and it's 4 books. And I was like, I know at the end they teased like the second book, like I guess like for a sequel. They haven't. I guess it was just I guess it did really poorly. But I always hoped that maybe they would end up doing a sequel, because kind of like eventually like the first one wasn't that good, but maybe it gets better like in time. Like Harry Potter, the first one, it wasn't like it was cool. I was like, oh my god, it's so cool, but obviously it wasn't like state of the art.
Right.
But then each movie they just got better and better, and you could tell it got better and better with
Right.
each movie. So I was hoping they do that, but no, I guess it did really bad because it messed up a lot of points for me.
Well, now that you mention it, the Lord of the Rings movies. I feel like they did
I
pretty
can't.
alright.
I feel like they did all right. It's sad to say, I never read the books. Another thing I really want to read.
But if anything, it really won over a lot of fans.
Yeah, it has
Like,
a
converted
huge.
fans to
It has a huge following. I haven't heard anything of people saying like, oh no, the book or anything like that.
Yeah, I haven't heard like any huge uproar from it, so
Yeah.
I believe it did pretty well.
Yeah, I guess the same thing with like so far now The Hobbit.
So you guys just finished up your. Sorry, I had a blank. I had like a blank moment. You guys just finished up talking about Lord of the Rings, but you wanted to bring up something else. It's something that jagged your mind.
Hold your breath.
Oh, let it go.
I can't.
She's gonna release.
Okay,
the
I'm gonna
beast.
say it. Percy Jackson.
There's so many things that went wrong, and I just honestly, I want to go to Rick Riordan and shake him and be like,
Why did you let this happen?
Exactly, because if there's one thing I love more than Harry Potter, and don't freak out, I know, but I love Percy Jackson a little bit more. I guess I'm more inclined to, like Nickole, we're a little bit more inclined to Greek mythology. I like that a little bit more. And then it's just, these books are so good. I know they're like for 12 and 13-year-olds.
I'm still reading them.
Freaking
I'm
love
waiting
them.
for the book to come out in October.
Yeah, House of Hades. I'm super excited. But then, oh my god, when I first heard that they were gonna have a movie. Okay, and this is the other thing. This is another one of those movies that I saw the trailer and I was like, cool. Like I was like, oh, like.
It's that appeal of watching what you've been reading and making up your own ideas about coming to life.
No,
on
but this
screen.
is another one of those things where it was like I remember when I first saw the trailer and I clearly remember it was just a quick, like, super
glimpse.
small like teaser trailer where you just see the 3 demigods were now obviously, back then I didn't know who they were, but there was like Percy, Annabeth, and Grover, and you just see them walking in, I guess, into a museum, and then and it goes Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Lightning Thief or whatever, and I was like, okay, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's a book. I'm like, it's a book. Again, another Aragon moment. So
It's a book.
So then, me being me, I was like, okay, it looks really cool, and if it's a book,
Like, what year did that come out?
I don't know. I don't know, but it was at that point where the book was established.
I think
where
I actually read the books before, maybe.
I didn't. I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, it looks cool, and I think it's Olympians. I like Greek stuff. So I found the book in a library and I was like, okay, it looks good. And I read it, I was like, okay, this is really good. I like it.
Got hooked.
I got hooked, and then I was like, do they have more? And so they
And
did.
yes, they did.
They did, eventually, to the point where I remember I was maybe 4 books behind, because at that point he only had, I think maybe, I'm not too sure when exactly it came out, but I think at that point he had 4, and then obviously the last Olympian, the 5th one, hadn't come out yet, so I was like, okay, I'm behind, but they're not that big. Literally, they're like that big. So I read them all in a day, and it was really good. And then I remember when the last Olympian was like, I was like, I need it now. I bought it and I read it that same day, like in maybe 2 hours. It's not that long of a book, but they're really
But
good.
it's really addicting.
It is, and like Rick Riordan, I fell for the characters. I ended up all loving them, and I was like, they're mine now. They're
But
not
I think
his.
I was like into Greek mythology before coming into the book, so I read this and I'm like, hey, references.
Yeah, not to mention the concept is like, it's like Greek, but it's like modernized. It's like these kids, but they're like, it's modern. They have cell phones, they have computers. It's everything.
Well, they can't use them.
Yeah, they can't use them. Spoilers, not really. And then so I was like, okay, it's really cool. I've established I'm in love with the books. They're mine now. And then I was like, okay, now all I have to do is wait for the movie. I didn't see it in theater because like no one wanted to take me. No one wanted to go with me. I don't want to go by myself.
Tiniest violin playing.
So I was like, I'm gonna have to wait for the DVD. So finally, the DVD came, and I was like, yes, I'm so excited. I saw it, and I'm pretty sure I cried. It was so bad.
Really?
It was. If you read the books,
They made some choices
They made
that I
so
don't
many
understand.
drastic. Which some of them I was like, you know what? Fine, I understand. Like
For the sake of fitting it in a movie, okay. But other things.
Okay, I'm gonna make a list.
Oh God.
One. Let's start with the casting. Okay.
No.
Don't get me wrong.
Everything, no.
Don't get me wrong. I like Logan Lerman. I'm a Logan Lerman fan.
I think
One,
you're in love with him actually.
I'm pretty. He might be watching. Logan Lerman. We're friends. No, we're not. Just kidding. No. Okay. One. His name. Logan Lerman. It's a fun name to say.
Lerman.
Logan Lerman. It's the double L's.
Janet, what was your point?
Of what?
Your
list.
Okay. One. He's a cool actor, but here's the thing. I'm gonna go back to Harry Potter. Let's see. If you read the books, in the first book, Harry's 10. In the movie, Harry looks 10. Percy Jackson, in the book, he's 10, I think, 10 or 11, around there. He's super young. In the movie, I'm pretty sure he's 16. Which,
Isn't he like 14 or 15 in the books?
no,
Because the whole point was that, oh, you're not going to make it to your 16th birthday.
exactly, 5 books. So you should be like 10, 11.
It's the same year. Oh my God, kill me now.
She's
I
having
might-
a revelation.
I really might just do that. No!
Okay.
Dude, every book is
She's having a revelation, pretty much. It's
No.
like, oh.
every book, it's a different summer. It's like a different year.
Okay.
He ages.
Okay, I'm not arguing
At
with
the
you.
end of the
Learn.
5th book, he turns 16.
Okay.
Oh, calm down, Janet.
I'm not arguing with
I
you.
know, I'm kind of angry now.
I don't know how to handle my embarrassment, so this is it.
Don't be
Default face.
embarrassed.
Fun fact, that's Nicole's default face.
Don't tell them that.
I don't think you're gonna be looking for it.
Fine, edit that out. Okay, yes, in the books, it's basically essentially kind of like a Harry Potter scenario. He's really young in the books. Not, I guess,
It's been
I
a
want to
while
say 10,
since I've read
11.
the books.
But no, I remember that. I was like, I know he was actually pretty young. And then obviously he ages throughout the books, and with the whole prophecy, he's like, you will not make it to your 16th birthday. Obviously, at the end of the book, he turns 16. Obviously, everything happens. But no, in the movie, he looks around 15, 16. He looks like a teenager already, and he really shouldn't. So it's that. It's Annabeth. I don't know if you guys read the book. She's blonde.
She's supposed to.
No, she's blonde. She's supposed to be blonde. And then in the movie, we're like, I like this girl with brunette hair. It costs too much to dye someone's hair, apparently. Like, it's too much money to do that.
Did they combine basically Annabeth and Clarice in the movie?
Oh my god, they didn't.
They
Because
did
I know
that.
Clarice comes out in the Sea of Monsters.
But that was their intention, I think.
Oh god, was it? I should punch them for
I've
that.
heard stuff about that on the internet.
I really hope
I
that
might
wasn't
be
their
mistaken, I
intention,
don't
because
know.
that would just make me angrier than their initial. It was like, no, we don't want to dye her hair. Because I like Clarice. I really do.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was a jerk in the first book.
She's a
but
toughie.
She's a toughie, but I love her. Like, when you find out, like, her story and basically all about that, I adore that girl. Daughter of Ares. So no, I didn't like Annabeth because she's blonde. Why didn't you read the book? She's blonde. Why didn't no one read it? Not to mention, okay, she's blonde, and I like that they had their the whole rivalry between her and Percy, because the whole thing, like, Athena and Poseidon not exactly on the best of terms at times. So I like that it had that in the beginning. Then eventually, like, they fell in love at the end, and I'm like, no, you have 5 books for them to do that. Till eventually in the last book they both admit that yes, they
Steady
like each
character
other.
development.
Yes, instead of the whole at the end of the movie, it's like no. Grover. I, believe it or not, did not have a problem with Grover. I don't know why, a lot of people were really angry when this came out, that, I don't know why, they're like, Grover's black, or the way he looks, and I'm like, I don't exactly, he's a fawn, if you give him horns and legs, I'm good, because they don't necessarily detail what he truly looks, so I was like, I don't know, no, the character-wise, like, how he
acted.
I was like, no, because Grover's like, I love him. He's a little sweetheart for me. Like, he's the nervous little fawn that trails after Percy. He's like, Percy, please don't do this. Percy, for the love of God,
Don't do the thing.
Don't do what you're thinking. And he's just like a nervous character, but eventually he becomes brave. But I love how he's supposed to be like the little nervous Danny. Like, it's super cute trailing after Percy. He's like, Percy, I'm super scared. But he's like a super good friend, and in the movie it's like, no, I love my little nervous Grover, and it's like, no, don't make him dance. I don't like that.
That scene was weird.
Yeah, no. The gods themselves, they were huge, but I honestly didn't care. They didn't really go too into the gods, like, aside from Poseidon and Zeus, obviously. So I was like, I honestly, I didn't really care. Who else did I not like?
What else should you add to your list?
Yeah.
So much.
This is just characters, by the way. Oh my god, no, one god, Hades. I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't know what they were doing with that.
In the book, they described him as like this menacing man, like, Hades, like, you're just like, you don't want to go near the guy, like, Superman, like, I swear to God, like, I picture him, like, all black robe-ish, like, what Greeks would wear, I'm sorry if I, like,
Sorry if I bleh.
like, just a menacing face type, just kind of, like, not even, like, angry, just, like, the cold stare, but, like, menacing eyes, and just, like, literally sitting, like, on a throne of, like, freaking bones and death and whatever.
Yeah.
Like Hades, yeah, like how you said. Like, they describe him as truly, like, a terrifying presence. And then, pretty sure they put Mick Jagger in the movie for him. But it was really weird. They made him a little too playful. And I was like, Hades is not at all playful. Not at all. Especially later on in the books.
Maybe they were trying to keep that Disney representation of what Hades was like from the Hercules movie, how he was playful, because James Wood.
Even then, he was playful, but Jesus, I would have preferred him more than the one they gave.
Oh, like, really? It was that bad?
It wasn't that good. No,
It was a bit upsetting.
Yeah, like, I would have liked it if they would have kept him a little bit more serious. Like, he honestly, he's a serious character. And then Persephone, I don't know, she was hitting on Grover, so I was like, Persephone, what are you doing? So I was like, Persephone, chill.
I love Persephone though. Not in the movie, but in the myths, I love Persephone.
Yeah, so that was annoying. Okay, that's the only god I was going to bring at all. Let's see who else. Luke. You know, I guess I didn't have that much of a problem with Luke. Like, yeah, they made him. He was supposed to be older than them, so yeah, they had that. Like, I guess kind of like they described in the books. It's been a while. I think kind of looking like a college guy-ish type. So you know what? He wasn't that bad, I guess. Except the only thing is, again, they ruined his story for the fact that you find out he's the villain before you should have. Like in the books.
You don't find out until towards the end.
Towards the literally the very end when he betrays Percy and tries to literally kill him, and you're just like, wait, what? You? Why, Luke? And then no, and then in the book you find out like, in the movie you find out like
Very early on.
very early on, like I guess when they're gonna go deliver the lightning bolt, and that's not how it should have happened. It should have been a surprise. It should have been like, wait, it was you this whole time. So I was like, no, Luke. Character-wise, that's done. Let's see.
What about the whole movie in general, though? Like,
Well, yeah,
It was
basically
bad.
they just kind of messed up a lot that it was hard to see the second one coming to be.
Yeah.
Because they messed up on a lot
I
of
don't even know.
facts.
Did they even have the prophecy?
I didn't watch it, unfortunately.
I did, and I can't even remember because
The
it was so
second one?
bad. Oh, the second one.
Oh.
No. No, I'm
When
not
did
gonna watch
you
the
go?
second one. Sorry. Cause it's just.
I heard they did try to rectify a few things that they mistaken. Like, obviously they made Annabeth blonde. and
Which
all
I
that.
thought was funny. Because it wasn't even full blonde, it's like blonde streaks.
Do you know how they explained that? Or
No.
did they, like...
I don't want to go to the theater. I'm not giving them my money. I'm going to wait for
Whatever.
DVD
I heard they
and rent
tried
it.
their best to try to make something right.
But here's the thing, they're keeping it too childish. And not even like to the point of 10, 11. It's like a little bit too childish. It's like, no. Like, do the books some justice. Like, I honestly don't know why Rick Riordan is not like, no. And then,
I
like,
feel like
plot-
kind of like what they did with Harry Potter. They should bring the author in and kind of supervise something.
And here's the thing.
I think that's the best.
They did, you know they
It's the
did,
best
right?
approach.
Rick Riordan, like, apparently...
Was he like
He
on
was.
set?
He was, yes. He was involved in the
Oh.
first movie. Why do you think I'm so upset? I love Rick Riordan. I love his books. They just changed so many things. They honestly, they did it, and I don't like it at all. Uma Thurman playing Medusa was kind of weird. Like, Jesus Christ. She talks
We're gonna sit
funny.
here in our disappointment.
Sorry guys, the rest of the thing is
So
gonna be Percy Jackson because I can't stop.
Well, no, because we have another big topic to talk
No,
about.
but I can't stop. What else can I?
Just talk about the general movie, woman. We have a big topic to talk
Fine.
about.
It's really, really not good because they messed up a lot of things. They changed a lot of key plot points, and they revealed things too early. I didn't even want to go and see a Monsters, which I heard had really bad CGI.
Really?
Yeah, that's sad.
That's the worst because we're in such a day and age where
CGI is
it's
really
better.
good.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
And then I
like
heard the
that.
CGI was just really bad. That's how bad it was, that noise.
No. So we have another big discussion, and I had to cut Janet off, and I apologize. But
It's okay.
her ranting has gone on for long, and there's more to be done.
Fun fact, it would have gone longer.
Yeah, it would have been, but there's more to be discussed. You guys, the internet, the world, the news has come out that the new Batman in this movie will be Ben Affleck, and not many people are happy. And we wanted to touch upon this discussion because we are not happy, and there's a lot more ranting to be done. So guys, let it rip. I am mad about this.
Did you see Daredevil?
Yeah, Daredevil was horrible.
It
was horrible.
I don't think the people who are making this Batman. Zack Snyder, did you see Daredevil?
Did you see Daredevil?
That's all I
Did
want to know.
you? Yeah.
All right, Nickole, because I went off on a tangent the Percy Jackson stuff.
I mean, I don't like hating on things or whatever, but I'm
Hate
not
on
very.
it.
I'm
It's
not
very
very
easy.
I'm not very happy with the choice, but I actually saw someone on Twitter mention the fact that when Ledger was picked as Joker, not a lot of people were happy with that either.
But I think it wasn't because of the character choice. I think a lot of people were excited to see him, but he was still in a danger zone with drugs and everything. He was just out of a very hard time, so I think they were more upset that they decided to endanger his life like that. You know? And I think that's why it was more of an uproar. They were like, let the man be for a while before you put him into a role like this. Because a lot of people have had problems playing the Joker. It's kind of like
It's
kind of like a
it's
Batman
tough-
curse.
It's a tough role. Yeah, it's a tough role to play because
Yeah.
he is such an iconic character that you have to do it right. If not,
and just
one
his
little
character
fault,
in
you can
general, it's very like a twisted kind of thing to do.
yeah, and it's
You know.
one faulty move, and you can forever be like, oh, him is the Joker. No, he was horrible. Or you can be like, so that's why Heath Ledger is
But he's
for
had,
me the best Joker ever. Like no
he
one else.
had
I'm
a
sorry, no.
bad
Or you can try.
history,
You
though.
can.
That's why they were upset. I think they were kind of like, "Are you sure this is right?" Because those who have previously played Joker have gone through kind of like mental breakdowns. They've had trouble, so I think a lot of people were worried about him when this had come out.
Just basically, like, I'm upset over the choice, but I'm not gonna hate on him yet.
I don't
I
know.
have to
I'm
see how he does.
I'm not
From
very
his history,
happy.
I'm not happy either.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not happy, and I know people are gonna be like, oh, just give it a chance. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not happy. I will give it a chance. It's a Batman movie. Not to mention
watch
it's Batman
it. Yeah.
and Superman. They're best pals. So I really want to see something for the movie, and until I see the first trailer as with him either in the suit or just as Bruce Wayne, as of now, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be happy. But until I see the first trailer and I'm like, you know what, okay, you know what, fine, I'm gonna truly really
And
give
it's
it a
gonna take
chance.
some adjustment because we're so used to Christian Bale.
Yeah, we're
doing
used
his
to Christian
Batman.
Bale, so
I love
I think
Christian Bale.
it's also that the initial you're like, no, we've had Christian Bale, just
You
go
don't
get
like
him.
change.
I
Well,
don't like
he wanted to be back in the Batman movies, but I don't think he wanted to be in this one. A lot of people are saying that he was done, but I think he's changed his mind now.
Unfortunately,
I
he did
wish.
change his mind a little too
I don't
late.
think he wanted to do this movie though. I think he wanted to just do his series of Batman movies. That's why.
I don't know. If Ben Affleck? If Ben Affleck, if I see and if he does my character justice, that's all I really want. I'm complaining now, but you know what? If he can do my character justice and if he turns out to be a good Batman, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm sorry,
Well,
I was
think
wrong.
because
I will
it is
admit
part of the reboot, so it's like, you know, if you're gonna continue this, you're gonna take it to wherever you're gonna take it.
Yeah.
Justice League.
So
But,
hopefully I'm wrong, and right now I'm just like, no, Janet, you're crazy, and I'm like, you know, fine, I'll give it.
I'm just kind of cautious about it. I'm cautious about the whole setup of the movie. I'm cautious about how they're going to do this movie. I'm cautious about the actors and everything. It's just a very sketchy setup for me. I think that's why I think
I'm
this
wondering
way.
what he's gonna look like his bat suit, because I don't know if they're gonna
Right.
if they're gonna keep it to Christopher Nolan's design
Probably
or
not.
if they're gonna do how they're gonna do it. I hope they kind of modernize. Not modern. I kind of hope they class it up a bit. But I don't know. I'm very interested to see how Batman will actually look.
I know that I did hear that Ben Affleck is he's beefing up, and he's beefing up big time for this
Well, you
role.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to, but not that much. it's
Yeah,
not like a
that's
Superman
true.
role.
Worry
If he
about-
was playing Superman, he'd have to beef up quite a bit, because that's what the actor who played Man of Steel. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I never do.
It's Henry.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I can't remember his name. I don't know why. I love him, but I can't remember his name. He had to go through like intense training to be able to get like the six pack, like the defined muscles, like Superman quality. So he should work out, but I don't think it's that much because
Right, because you know how comic books portray superhero men in their comics, they're always like very big,
very
but
buff.
but in movie perspective, Batman is human. Like, he doesn't have any superpowers, so he doesn't have that much of a need to look that unnaturally large.
Yeah.
So
I also remember that the character needs to maintain the look of Bruce Wayne. I don't know if they're ever going to put Bruce Wayne in this movie, but Bruce Wayne is still a businessman, and he's not super buff. And Batman isn't, he doesn't have superpowers or anything, so it's kind of like you need to keep the realistic
That
look.
balance.
Yeah, of course. So that's what I also worry about. This whole movie's kind of on that edge for me. I'm not sure what to think about it because it's kind of just sketchy. It's so sketchy, and it's weird to say it, but for a Batman movie, and we've seen some that haven't been too friendly with the audience.
Batman and Robin, never forget. It was
No.
bad.
Yeah, it was bad. Never forget. And that's why I kind of keep on my toes with these Batman movies because you never know what we're going to get. While he has been lucky in video games, he hasn't been so lucky in movies. So it's kind of one of those things where I keep on my toes. I'm kind of cautious about it. And I'm sure others are the same way about that.
And then we can speculate everything, but then when the time comes, we'll see for ourselves what it really has to offer. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be a really. I really hope I'm wrong, and I'm really like, I was super wrong. I like Ben Affleck, and then I'll be a super huge Ben Affleck fan.
Well, we'll have it recorded to remind you.
Yeah. Future Janet, you listen now.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much wraps up what we were going to talk about comic book and video game movie adaptations. Although
And
there
books.
And books. There hasn't been much about video games. But what about movies that actually influence video games? And I'm not talking about like a kids movie comes out and they want to make a video game like Planes.
No.
I'm talking about the big stuff. You had mentioned one.
Oh no, I'm pulling a blank.
Yeah, so
oh,
Star
Trek. It was Star Trek.
Yeah. Thank you, Janet.
That was
Star
a
Trek had it.
Bad game. I didn't play it personally, but I saw a lot of it.
I saw some walkthroughs and I was like, well, I'm sorry, but generally it's just a thing. It's just generally when you have a really good movie, you're like, hey, and then they're like, teehee, now play this movie, the game. You're like, no.
For the most part, I
put
don't
any
think I have
effort.
yet seen a video game based on a movie that has been good.
They honestly, they don't put any effort. They really don't.
And
it's just like,
why make one in the first place?
Yeah, why? It's kind of like every game that I've played, it's kind of like the stuff that takes place in between the cutscenes of the movie, and it's so annoying because it's like, I don't want to play that. I want to play, what happened in the movie. I want this to be, canon. I want it to be legit. I don't want to know what happened in their cutscenes.
And making a video game from a movie
Unless
is
it's done
pretty
well.
ballsy as it is, but
What about Harry Potter? I actually played some of the games. It's actually not that bad.
I can't beat one of the games, so I'm going to say it was
Yeah,
good.
But it's
yeah.
actually
It comes to
again,
mind,
Harry
actually.
Potter does it right. They really
Yeah,
do.
they do.
Like even their
they were
video
lucky.
games that are based off the movies, I'm like, I actually used to play them with my brother.
So I
And I'm
guess
like,
I take back my earlier comment. I hadn't thought of those.
yeah, because I was just thinking about, like, I actually played those. I used to play those with my brother. I'm like, okay, it's not like, but it's like, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty
it's not.
entertaining.
And it follows the movie and the book pretty well, I suppose.
But
so.
I was just saying earlier that it's pretty ballsy to make a game from a movie, but then it's even ballsier to release the game the same day as the movie before
Yeah.
you know how it's gonna do. I know that movie R.I.P.D. did that recently. Their game was released the same day as the movie.
I never
Did that
knew
movie even do good?
I don't know.
I haven't heard
from it.
anything. I don't
But-
know.
Sorry, that
want
was
to go
wrong.
see it.
That was not good grammar. I'm like, it upsets me. Did that movie even do well? I'm sorry, my apologies.
But yeah, like I don't know why you would do that without really knowing how it's gonna fare.
yeah,
so-
yeah, I don't know. That was pretty bad. They did the same thing with that stupid kids cartoon Planes too, right?
Or that Turbo, that's what it was.
Turbo,
the
yeah.
snail thing that
They made a game out of that?
yeah.
I don't pay attention to those types
I don't
anymore.
know.
Yeah, it was very odd because I mean I guess for that little kids will buy that and they'll play it. It's
I think that's the whole
entertaining.
point. Like it's meant mainly for the kids.
Yeah, but still, like, it's, I don't know. I buy them sometimes because they look really fun, and if it's a movie, like, I bought the Cars video game because I really like the movie. And the game wasn't that bad. It was okay.
But I guess in the end, their company did get some revenue off it because it did sell. Like, at
Yeah.
least out of curiosity, people did buy. So.
Yeah, that's true. And I think you get that a lot when you see a game based off a movie. You're kind of curious as to what they're going to offer. But, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
a bit eh.
yeah, it's a touchy subject, and it's difficult because mostly all you get is kids with these video games. But there are those moments where you see a movie and then you see the game and you're like, whoa, no, I know this is definitely not for kids because the movie was so, was so intense. Didn't they make a game for? Man,
What was it about?
Inception, I think. Did
They
they
make
make
a game for that?
Did they?
I'll totally play it.
I
Huh.
think they.
See, and that's what happens. I guess they
Yeah.
have people like you who will be like, oh yeah, I totally play it, and you go out and you buy it.
They made an
It's
app.
a fun movie.
They made
It's
an
a
app
great
for
movie. I
your
love that movie.
iPhone for it, and I
Huh.
I had it for a while, and I realized how stupid it was after a while. I'm like, wow, this is really dumb. Why did I even waste my download on this? So I mean,
I guess I can start to see that, with the whole hype of a movie, people will just be like, why not?
yeah, they kind of like just get really intrigued and decide to go for it. But I don't know, most of them don't turn out well. Like, take for example a regular video game. I want to say, what's a good one that we can mention? I guess.
Well, this would probably be going backwards.
No, Minecraft.
Minecraft.
No.
What do you mean? What type of movie?
No, I'm talking about a video game. I guess Assassin's.
Say Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider, yeah. Take Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider was it had a movie.
But
It had two, and
yeah,
actually,
but the game came out first.
yeah, it had two, and that wasn't bad. I liked the movie for Tomb Raider. They
Oh,
did a good
you want
job.
to talk about a video game that came first and the movie was really bad?
Um,
I really have something on that subject.
Wait. I had a thought here. I'm sorry. Like Tomb Raider. Take a look at Tomb Raider and take a look at that normal game. That game was amazing. It was set up, and there wasn't anything pressuring it. Now go ahead and take a look at the Star Trek game that came out, and take a look at that, and you'll see that the game was just so. It
was
must have been
silly.
rushed or something, right? It must have been just like compact because it is trying to go with the storyline. But
I guess it's because you can see that not as much effort was put into it as it could have been.
exactly.
As
but
a normal game, like that a company would put in a lot of effort, a lot of time
exactly.
and love.
If you're a game developer, don't rush on a game that you want to make after a movie. Treat it like it was its original title. Now, we mentioned Tomb Raider, and yeah, Tomb Raider had a good movie. Tomb Raider was actually a really great movie. I liked that movie too. Both of them, they were really great, and the actress was great. And there's rumors to be another one coming out soon. They're looking for an actress for her. But on that tangent, what were you gonna say about a video game with a movie that came after?
Oh gosh, I might go off like Percy Jackson. Resident Evil.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with her 100%. Resident Evil.
Okay, now don't get me wrong. I love the Resident Evil games. I will always do. They haven't been doing. Now, obviously, they haven't been doing that well recently.
Well, they haven't been doing as bad as Silent Hill, so
Yeah,
don't worry
but
about
after
that.
4, they're kind of losing themselves in what they originally started, like that genre type that they started in.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I hear that they're gonna try to get back to the Resident Evil that we all loved. But no. The games are awesome. Now, the movies, I think it's been 5 movies? I think there's 5 movies. I can't remember the names of them all. I think the last one was something about people. Okay, now the first 2 movies of Resident Evil, they were actually really good.
They were scary.
They were creepy. They're like,
They followed it.
Now, obviously, yeah, we have Alice, who was like, she's not from the game. She's a character they made up for the movie. And I was like, you know what? Hey, I like this girl. This chick's awesome. She's like, she doesn't take anything from anybody. She's like, zombie. She's full of spunk and sass. She's a little spitfire, that girl. And I like her because she's like, zombie, shoot you in the face. And so I was like, okay, she's not in the game, but hey, this girl's cool. She's like, zombie. I don't care. Zambies.
Zambies.
Zambonis. What was I talking about? Oh, okay, the first two movies weren't that bad. They had characters, obviously from the games. Like the first movie, not so much. The second movie actually took place in Raccoon City, which was cool.
Yeah.
Didn't have any Leon, but
Leon, my favorite.
but you did see Jill. You did see Nemesis. Nemesis was awesome.
Yeah, I'm pulling my hair. I'm sorry. I'm doing my hair in the middle of a video.
It's okay.
Rude.
The first two films were really good. Like, it didn't, obviously, it's not like the type of movie that it follows the game, but it did keep many elements of the game. Like, it had the creepy factor. The enemies looked really cool. They're like, oh, you were truly like, don't go near me. The characters from the game were like, oh, hey, okay, yeah, that's Jill. Or like, hey, that's Nemesis. Nemesis is cool. And then I don't know what happened. They had a good thing going on, and then
Kind of strayed.
it honestly,
It strayed big time. What are you
it
talking
really,
about?
it really did.
Oh,
Like,
God.
I don't understand. It started off with this really cool thing, and then for some reason, Alice is like now she has like 1 million clones of herself.
Yes, I don't know
Which
what was up with that.
really confused me. I was like, no. I know they tried to bring in more elements of some of the recent games, like the more recent movies. Honestly, they had, instead of just the zombies, like the T-virus, they had like Las Plagas and all that stuff, like Ouroboros and stuff like that. Yeah, they had that stuff. As you can tell, like when you have the weird plant like monster thingy that comes out of their mouth, that's from the more recent games. And then, but then it started getting really bad. Like story wise, it got kind of confusing. You're like, why would you? Again, it's her cloning thing, and there's like a million of her, and I'm like,
it's just so confusing.
and then they gave her the
It's
psychic
straight.
powers, which I don't really know why they did. I liked it that she was enhanced strength and all that stuff.
They took away from the infected. They didn't focus on what the initial subject was for Resident Evil. They took it away, and it sucked. Now, another one that seemed to do it was Silent Hill. They started off with really great movies, and then that one that just recently came out, and then they made a game for the movie for the game. What the hell? As I was saying, yeah, they made a movie made for the game, but they ended up making a game for that movie. So
Which doesn't make sense because it's already based off a game.
it was a game made for a movie made for a game, essentially, and it was really bad. And so the game was really bad. And I think Silent Hill went through that same thing that Resident Evil went through. They kind of just changed completely. They did a really bad job with that movie, which was based on one of the third one you said? The third game?
Retribution, yeah. If sorry if I'm wrong. I think that was Silent Hill 3. I think was the Silent Hill based off of Heather.
That was but that was
yeah,
a
I'm
good
pretty sure
game.
It was 3.
And they ruined it with that stupid movie that recently just came out. So,
Yeah, it's
and the
not a
game
very
that
good
came
movie.
out after it wasn't good. It doesn't make any sense. It really
pretty
doesn't.
odd.
Yeah, they did
I don't
really
see a purpose
weird,
for doing that.
Yeah, neither do I. And they did a really weird thing. And I feel bad because there's a lot of companies going through that now. And it's sad because you love the games and you want to see your characters come into life and on the big screen, and it doesn't happen right how you want it to. It's a shame.
Bittersweet victory.
It is. This whole discussion, we've talked about so many things that just make us feel bittersweet in the end.
It's been a bittersweet discussion.
Yeah, essentially. Is there anything else that you guys want to add? I think this was our last topic of the day.
That's it.
Any more ranting?
Wesker wasn't really good at Resident Evil either. Go ahead, now I'm done.
Okay. So we're not going to leave you with a bittersweet ending. We are, however, going to ask you if there's anything that you heard in this discussion today that you wanted to bring up and talk about. Just leave a comment in the comment section below. Oh, it's there. Also, if you like this video, give us a like. And if you want to keep... That was terrible. If you want to keep updated with the channel, you can either subscribe to us on YouTube, which we recommend, right guys?
I prefer.
Subscribe. Or if you don't want to watch YouTube 24/7 for our next video, just go on to Tumblr, and we are also there. There's a link on the YouTube page.
We're
I believe.
everywhere.
That's creepy.
We can be everywhere.
Well, we can be if we wanted to be.
And that's not creepy?
Well, that's creepy too. We're creepy people. Okay, guys. Well, that's it for us. I think we are out.
We're outie.
Of our
Yeet.
minds.
Yeet.
I'm sorry.
Let us know what you thought in the comment section below, and we will see you next week. We out.